Yeah, you might catch me yawning a time or two in this episode. I'm not going to lie. And it's not because I was up late taking notes for today. No, it's because of the World Series. 18 innings, almost 7 hours. Blue Jays and Dodgers, they kept everyone across America up all night. I'm pretty sure that game didn't get finished till about 1:45 Central Time. So, yeah, very late night. And if you stayed up and now have to work today, I am wishing the very best for you. Well, welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest. This is your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs, usually in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, luckily for us as NFL fans and as Chiefs fans, usually those games, NFL games, do not go 7 hours. I don't know. Has an NFL game ever gone 7 hours? I would have to look into that. Luckily, though, we got in, we got out. First half looked shaky, but we got business done in the second half, and now we look on to the Buffalo Bills. We're going to break down what we saw on Monday Night Football, the good and the bad. Mostly good, but of course, that first half was not what we expected from the Chiefs. But before we dive into this recap, you guys know the drill. That's right. And you guys know the goal that we currently have. But if you're new to the channel, let me run down this very quickly. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I'll tell you why, because we have a goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of December. But like I said, we might be able to accomplish that by the end of November. So let's go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest Monday through Friday. Trade deadline's coming up very soon. Of course, we got a big contest against the Buffalo Bills next week. You're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team, so hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go ahead and just get something out of the way quickly. Yes, I'm going to be negative Nancy here, but the Chiefs' offensive line, it did look shaky without Trey Smith and Josh Simmons, but that's no secret. You have Jalen Moore, you have Mike Caliendo filling in and stepping up. And the struggle, it was showcased early. Moore got bulldozed on the opening drive by Jacob Martin. That led to a sack on Patrick Mahomes. But thankfully, Mahomes is Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. This year, he was able to scramble out of a lot of situations and just construct a second half surge with this offense. But let's look at a positive with this offensive line, and that's Creed Humphrey. He was a wall at center, allowing just one, that's right, just one pressure and 217 pass pro snaps since week 4 this season. He's anchoring the line right now, as he always does, despite some absences. But Kareem Hunt, this actually running back duo of Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco was fantastic on Monday night. But mostly Hunt. He was playing that bully ball. He was that bully ball maestro, continuing to excel in that short yardage situations. Of course, that's his main role. That's his only role, really. But he's really outshining in that role this season. Even statistically, he's doing better than the Eagles when they do the tush push. He converted a 4th and 1 on the opening drive. He's now 8 for 9 on 4th downs with 2 yards or less. The Chiefs ran by committee for the 3rd straight week. This is what we wanted to see. This makes this offense that more dangerous when it's balanced. Racked up 148 yards. Isaiah Pacheco flashing some big yardage runs. Led the team with 58 yards. Hunt tallied a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Both were dynamic. Both really had no complaints from me. Over the last 4 games, KC's averaged 143 rushing yards and 31 attempts per game. Just showing the balance that makes this offense a nightmare for defenses. For example, go back to the 3rd drive. They started with 2 4-yard runs, then pounded it 5 times in a row. That was capped off by Hunt's 1-yard touchdown that gave them the 7-0 lead. But when you run it as much as they did, 7 times plus, in that drive alone, it proves that the run later sets up the pass, which we saw in the second half and we'll get to here. But really, just 3 drives ran that first half for KC. If that drive showcased anything, it's that the passing game, yeah, it might not initially be there, but rely on that run game, open up the offense a little bit. And that's what the Chiefs have done the past 3 weeks. And look at this. The past 3 weeks have been 3 straight wins. The Chiefs would come out of the second half with a balanced attack as well. They didn't really shy away from it. 3 rushes, 5 passes, with one of those passes being to Hunt for his second touchdown on the night. And that was on 4th and 2. We're going to talk about going for it on 4th also in this episode. But in my book, Hunt's short yardage dominance, the committee run game, it masked those O-line injuries. It masked those O-line problems that we had. But it set the tone for a balanced attack that just buried the Commanders later on in the game. But what really helped bury the Commanders later on in the game wasn't just our run game, but it was Patrick Mahomes. It was Travis Kelce, a duo that has been raved about for years now within the NFL community and for rightful reasons. Yes, the O-line was shaky. Yes, it meant that Mahomes was on the move a little bit more, but it didn't slow him down on the run when he's running over 8 miles per hour. He went 6 for 8, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and 149 passer rating. So even on the move, even when he is scrambling, making those cross-body throws, cross-field throws, does not matter. He's back to that form where it just seems like he can close his eyes, put a blindfold on, just go out there this way, that way. Doesn't matter. Someone's going to come down with it. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. He was both a culprit and a victim of 2 interceptions in this one. His first interception, where he was targeting Hollywood Brown, that one was on Mahomes. Marshawn Lattimore, I get it, has not been playing well recently. He's been struggling. Get him in a man situation with Hollywood Brown. You want to take that. But honestly, Brown was blanketed. I get it. You probably had that in your mind. That's where you were going, especially with Lattimore's struggles. But if you just took a second, you would have saw that Brown was pretty heavily covered there. But Travis Kelce gave us some deja vu with a drop that led to Mahomes' second interception, just like he did in Philly, where it bounced off his hands. This one snagged by Bobby Wagner, marked Kelce's 5th drop of the season. That's second most in the NFL. But both of these players flipped the script in the second half. Kelce redeemed himself, 6 receptions on 8 targets for 99 yards, including a 10-yard touchdown. He tied Priest Holmes, a great in Chiefs history, for the most career touchdowns at 83. He did all this against the zone. Kelce did in this one. This marks Kelce's most receiving yards against zone since Week 3, 2023 against the Chargers, where he had 103 yards. Mahomes himself caught fire in the second half. At one point, he had 10 straight completions, including a 24-yard strike to Juju Smith-Schuster, 15 and 9-yard throws to Rashee Rice, and Kelce's touchdown. This is the 3rd time that Mahomes has thrown multiple interceptions and still posted a 100-plus passer rating. But here's the difference. Those other times he lost. 54-51 versus the Rams, 43-40 versus the Pats. So this win was a little more special there for him. It really came down to Mahomes shredding Washington's zone with those quick reads, Kelce exploiting the soft spots, turned a sloppy first half into an MVP caliber rout. Really, Mahomes saved his stat line, his MVP odds, and just overall the game with that second half. The Chiefs have more wins now by 13 plus points, 5 of them in their last 6 games, than they had in all of 2024 or 2023, showing how dangerous this team is with all their weapons, how much improved they are compared to last season at this point. The Chiefs topped 400 yards of offense for the 3rd time in 4 games. Mahomes and Kelce's ability to shake off early miscues, it really opened up this offense in the second half. It turned a potential trap game, which I was texting in the group chat to my buddies, oh, here's a classic trap game for the Chiefs, turned into a blowout, proving that this team is totally different to the teams that we saw the past 2 seasons. Speaking of a completely different team that we've seen the past 2 seasons, Andy Reid, he's gone rogue with his play calling. He's furiously dialing up some 4th down tries. And not only did he do it against Washington, he's done it since the Lions game. And then this one, he's converted both. And one of those 4th downs was a go-ahead touchdown, stealing momentum when the Commanders thought they had forced a stop. The Chiefs are 14 for 17 on 4th down this season, 82.4%, the best rate among teams with 10-plus attempts. And they turn those into points after they convert. 39 points off those conversions. Since Mahomes became the starter in 2018, Reid faced 4th and 3 or more inside the opponent's 30-yard line 86 times before this year. And he always, that's right, always kicked a field goal. Now, He's all in on the aggression. Rashee Rice is a big reason why, of course, enhancing this offense with his versatility. He caught 2 touchdowns in last game in his debut, and he added an 18-yard touchdown on the 7th drive Monday, baiting Bobby Wagner into biting on a fake sit route before racing across the field and going in. Rice has 16 receptions for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns in just 2 games. He's taking direct snaps. It's quick perimeter passes. It's intermediate routes. He's opening up the playbook, not only for himself, but for others. Washington's defense kept blowing assignments, allowing big plays, 27 yards, 31 yards, 38 yards, 24 yards, a season-long issue that has helped KC right now 4 straight 70-yard touchdown drives on Monday Night Football. Despite picking off Mahomes twice in the first half, the Commanders couldn't stop Rice's route-running wizardry, Reed's gutsy calls. It truly flipped the game. This is dangerous to not only keep time running and keep the ball out of opposing teams' hands, but when you do that, who's staying with the ball? Who's keeping the ball in their hands? That's right, Patrick Mahomes. That's dangerous. So yes, you're taking time and possessions away from other teams, but you're keeping the ball in the hands of the best quarterback in the league. This offense truly has a different ceiling when this team is converting 4th downs at a high rate like they are, or even willing to go for it on 4th down like they are. I don't know if some of that has to do with Harrison Butker and how he's been this season. But again, hey, I would take it when you score 39 points off those conversions. Well, we got to end the episode, of course, talking about the defense. We've been focused about the offense so far. So let's go ahead, switch our gears here, because much like the offense, the Chiefs' defense, it started slow, nearly letting this game get ugly. But second half adjustments, clutch plays, held Washington to 260 total yards after they outgained Kansas City 195 to 156 in the first half. Washington converted 7 of 12 third downs, had 3 first-half drives of 8+ plays, and all of those drives crossed midfield. Their first 4 drives all crossed midfield. So keep that in mind because they left a lot of points out on the field. Thanks to a balanced attack, though, that was led by Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He had 3 rushes, 9 yards on the opening drive. Marcus Mariota had 2 rushes and 10 yards on the opening drive. Deebo Samuel, back from injury, had 2 catches for 11 yards early. Again, they were moving the ball down that first drive, but his third target bounced off his hands, led to a Mike Dana interception that killed a scoring chance. So there's the first one to remember, the first opportunity that they had to score and couldn't. Well, Mariota, though, he looked like his old Titan self. Of course, I wouldn't say I disrespected him last episode, but I would say that, I did admit that he wasn't the Marcus Mariota of the past. He wasn't. But man, he did look like his old Titan self in the first half, completing all but 3 passes, working the pocket beautifully, either stepping up or just moving it wherever he decided to go. It really did not matter. Left, right, he got to dictate that. There was hardly any pressure from our interior defensive line. And that was on display multiple times. With Norman Law out, they're doubling Chris Jones more. Omenihu is not doing anything. And Gelati, he probably just needs more time to get accustomed to the defense and the flow of the game. But finally, someone stepped up for the Chiefs. George Karlaftis, he was a game wrecker, sacking Mariota on 3rd and 3 to force a 4th and 6. Zach Ertz came up 5 inches short and later deflected a pass. So coming up, 5 inches short, that was the second time that the Commanders left some points on the field. Mariota used the threat of his legs to connect with John Bates, used an 8-yard run as well, but the team was again stopped on 4th down. Their second turnover on downs in a row. That was their third opportunity where they left points on the field. The first 3 drives were interception, turnover on downs, and again, all 3 drives got past midfield. Washington's 4th drive tied it finally at 7-7. McNichols' 10-yard gain, and he had a block on Karlaftis that set up Mariota's lob to Terry McLaurin. But Bolton and Drew Tranquill both looked lost in zone assignments early. I was kind of disappointed with how they looked early, especially Nick Bolton. He in man coverage, even not just zone, but even in man coverage, he kind of had some mishaps there. The Commanders' second half was brutal. 65 yards, 3.3 yards per play, 4 first downs, and a punt interception sequence. Again, Mike Dana's second half sack, 3rd and 11, just ended another drive, added on to a great night for him. The Chiefs were able to get ahead quickly in the second half, so that forced the Commanders to start passing more. But I truly think that if they went more RPO or just straight up more run calls, they would have benefited them early on, especially early on in the second half. Think about it. You had Mariota's threat of his legs, Krosky Merritt as your running back. On their opening drive in the second half, Merritt had a 5-yard rush on first down. Then what did they do? 2 incomplete passes that led to a punt. I think they could have been more effective with the run game. Despite the slow start, the Chiefs erased Yak from McLaurin and Samuel, kept Ertz quiet, and they outscored their last 3 opponents 89-24, holding each under 300 yards with 3 takeaways in that span. The Chiefs' defense overcame a shaky first half with clutch stops, second half dominance, but the lack of interior pressure, it does scream for a deadline edge rusher trade. We need some pass rush. It's greatly, greatly preferred. And we saw on display how thin we are at that position and how much we need some depth there. Well, I am just happy that the Chiefs get a victory. Like I said, we move our attention now to the Buffalo Bills and possibly adding some help within a trade here very, very soon, possibly before the Buffalo Bills. Well, let me know your guys' thoughts on the game and where you think we need some help within a trade. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. You are listening to Cheifs Latest. I am your host, Calvin Silvers. And until next time, have a good one.